You ever notice those moments where everything's okay technically, and yet your body doesn't buy it? The lights are soft, maybe a show playing in the background, notifications quiet for once. You tell yourself, this is fine, but inside there's this hum, a faint, electric tension sitting behind your ribs, like you're waiting for something, but you don't even know what. It's strange because there's no reason for it. No fight to prepare for, no deadline creeping close, no one angry, nothing wrong. And still, you catch yourself holding your breath halfway, jaw clenched, mind checking exits like you're at a party you can't quite leave. You set down your drink, smile, and think, what's wrong with me? But nothing's wrong. That's the unnerving part. Most people assume anxiety has an obvious shape, panic attacks, tears, visible fear. But the real kind, the one that hides in plain sight, often feels like this quiet vigilance. You operate fine, you laugh, you show up, but underneath you're built for impact that never comes. Like your mind has an ear pressed to the ground, waiting for footsteps no one else can hear. Maybe it started long ago, before you had words for it. Maybe you learned early that calm could vanish without warning, that laughter could turn sharp, that comfort was something you could have but not keep. And so even now when life finally settles, part of you doesn't trust it. Stillness feels suspicious. It doesn't always trace back to a single moment. Sometimes it's just accumulation, a lifetime of sensing shifts before they happen, reading tone like weather patterns, noticing micropauses in conversation that others miss. That kind of awareness becomes a reflex, a skill even, useful but costly. You got good at appearing relaxed while never actually relaxing, at nodding when people say, you're so calm, while your nervous system quietly studies every sound in the room. You don't mean to, you just never stopped scanning. And that's the paradox, isn't it? You crave peace, yet when you finally get it, it feels wrong, off balance, like wearing clothes that don't quite fit. You wait for tension because your body thinks tension is what makes the world make sense. Psychologists sometimes say the brain prefers the familiar over the comfortable. Whatever you've known most of your life, chaos, alertness, uncertainty, becomes home even when it hurts. So the absence of those things doesn't feel peaceful. It feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar equals unsafe. Calm becomes the new threat. That's what nobody tells you. It's not that you can't relax. It's that your system doesn't recognize the signal for safe. It's still tuned to the old station, the one that played static and warning tones for years. It's listening for danger it doesn't realize has already passed. You can see it in small ways. How you walk into a quiet room and your shoulders lift before your brain even notices. How you flinch when someone calls your name, even softly. How your muscles don't loosen, even after the good news comes. You tell yourself you're fine, but your body remembers differently. Sometimes people mistake that for pessimism, like you're waiting for things to go wrong, but it's not about belief, it's about survival. Your nervous system doesn't trust long silences. It learned that calm moments often came right before the break, so it fills the silence for you, keeps your mind busy, your body braced, just in case. You see it most clearly when you stop, when the to-do list ends, when music's off, when the world quiets down enough that you can hear your pulse. That's when the unease starts talking, not loudly, but insistently. The hum says, something's out there. Even if there isn't, people tell you to just let go, as if it's an option hidden behind a switch. But no one explains how to convince your body that the war's over when it still feels like it has patrol duty. You can't logic your way into peace. You can only earn its familiarity, one small moment at a time. And yet this isn't about brokenness. It's not sickness. It's not pathology. It's instinct, overdeveloped instinct. A system that adapted so well it doesn't know how to stand down, like a guard dog that still paces even after the gates are open. You're not unstable. You're rehearsed, perfected even. Hyper-awareness has kept you ahead of pain more than once. It's probably why you handle crises with eerie calm, why friends come to you when things fall apart, because nothing surprises you anymore. You've been listening for the breaking point your whole life, but the cost of always staying ready is that you forget how to be. Actual stillness starts to feel like an absence instead of relief. You look around in peace and think, is this all? Did I miss something? You almost prefer the noise because at least noise explains the tension. Quiet doesn't. There's a peculiar exhaustion in that. You go through days where you're not truly tired, just done. No, not the kind of done that flares or complains. More like an internal stillness that's out of sync with everything around you. You can function fine, joke, meet deadlines, but underneath, it's as if something finished itself quietly a while ago and now you're just walking through the motions. And yet, no one sees it. They see competence, stability. They see the calm exterior you've practiced because it keeps things smoother. You've built your life around managing perception, not in a fake way, but in a self-protective way. The world feels easier when it believes you're okay. But sometimes, alone, When everything stops asking for your energy, you feel that low buzz again. The one that says nothing's wrong but acts like everything is. You rub your temples, stretch your shoulders, scroll your phone. Yet the body looks for something, anywhere, to park the energy. Because doing nothing feels unsafe. It's not laziness when you binge shows, it's not aimless scrolling, it's pattern. Distraction doubles as grounding. The flicker of screens, the moving voices, they give your brain something predictable to anchor to. Stillness without those things feels open-ended, too wide, too quiet. You might find yourself sitting in a park, telling yourself to enjoy it, and instead you're watching the way sunlight flickers through leaves, pulse quickening, because your body doesn't know what restful means anymore. It only knows readiness. There's something quietly tragic about that. To long for ease and not recognize it when it's finally offered. But there's also something oddly noble. Because what you call tension might actually be devotion. Pain of the body's way of saying, I'll keep you safe, even when you forget why I started. Imagine all the times that vigilance has saved you. Dodging conflict, sensing danger, managing chaos before it erupted. That same pattern sits with you now. Patient, alert, not broken, just misplaced. Sometimes I think about how humans are built to detect patterns, not peace. Early brains survived by staying alert, not relaxed. In modern life, that same wiring still fires, only now the threats come in quieter forms. Emails, silence, waiting. The danger rarely arrives, so the alert never resolves. You live in a world without clear endings. That's what tension without cause really feels like. A story without closure. A song that never resolves to its bass note. Your body keeps waiting for the downbeat that never comes. It's easy to hate yourself for that. Easy to think, why can't I just be normal? Why can't I feel fine when nothing's wrong? But what if this isn't failure at all? What if it's intelligence? Your system's sensitivity turned inward. The same awareness that detects subtle change in others now reacts to the subtle quiet around you. You feel things before they become things. You anticipate silence before it deepens. You measure tone before words catch up. That's not brokenness, it's heightened perception wearing itself thin. And yet, there are quiet moments when this vigilance softens. When you're driving through empty streets late at night, music low, world half asleep, something in you finally matches the rhythm outside. Not happiness, not excitement, just level. Your mind stops tugging, your breath matches the engine hum, like the kind of settling that doesn't even register as peace until it's gone again. You don't plan those moments, they happen between thoughts, between obligations. Like the body forgets its duty for half a beat. And that half a beat feels like clarity. It makes sense why you chase it, why you keep recreating situations that simulate movement, music, work, worry, because the rhythm soothes you more than silence ever could. But maybe you're not supposed to repair this. Maybe the goal was never to relax. Maybe it's to understand the shape of your tension instead, to know it so intimately that it no longer surprises you. Maybe that's what peace looks like for people like you. Not the absence of tension, but coexistence with it. Because if you pay attention, the tension tells a story. It's your system's way of saying, I'm watching because I care. That hum under your ribs, it's loyalty, it's memory, it's the trace of every moment that taught you vigilance was safer than surrender. And strangely enough, that realization can soften it. Not because the tension disappears, but because it stops feeling like betrayal. It starts to feel like protection running on outdated settings. You can almost thank it. Say, you've done your job well. You can rest when you're ready. That word, ready. Readiness has been your comfort zone all along, hasn't it? Even joy feels suspicious unless you understand the terms. Even rest feels conditional. You never fully sit down in your own happiness. You hover above it, waiting for proof that it's safe to land. And maybe that's okay. Maybe some part of you will always hover, and maybe it doesn't mean you're broken. Yet maybe it just means you've lived long enough to be careful with peace. There's research somewhere that says people with chronic vigilance often experience difficulty distinguishing between external threat and internal signal. The body sends the same chemical cocktail either way. Cortisol, adrenaline. The brain just knows alert. That's why even in silence, your chest tightens. You're translating peace as anticipation. But these are just notes in wiring, not warnings. In the same way a muscle twitches after years of repetition, your alertness twitches now, out of habit. It doesn't mean danger's near. It just means you've been alive for too long in a world that kept asking for your watchfulness. So here you are, trying to relearn ease. Not the glossy version sold in wellness slogans, but the quiet, awkward kind. Now, the one that coexists with unease and doesn't panic when calm feels strange. The kind that lets you sit in your tension like you'd sit beside an old friend. Familiar, complicated, necessary, because that's all this is. Familiarity misfiring, memory looping, adaptation overshooting its target. It's human and it's tender. You might never be someone who sinks completely into rest. You might always brace a little, check the corners, feel the hum. But what if, instead of chasing stillness, you started noticing when it visits you, however briefly? The way your shoulders drop mid-laugh. The way quiet coffee mornings feel less intrusive than they used to. The way sometimes you forget to worry. Those don't look like milestones, but they are. You can love your watchfulness without letting it run everything. You can feel tense and still be okay. And still belong, still breathe. Because the truth is, nothing's wrong. There's just an old rhythm still tapping under your skin. One that learned how to keep tempo when the world didn't. One that still believes movement means safety. And maybe deep down you don't actually want to erase that part. Maybe you only want it to rest beside you, no longer steering the wheel. There's a quiet beauty in that image. The mind that learned to brace finally realizing it can unclench slightly, not because danger's gone, but because it can't stay ready forever. Even the most loyal guard deserves to sit down sometimes. So if you're tense and you can't explain why, don't rush to diagnose or fix it. Just notice it. Let it be there like weather. Something that moves through, not something that defines you. Yeah, because even storms end up feeding the soil they unsettle. Tonight, or whenever you find yourself in that polite kind of unease, heart steady but not settled, thoughts quiet but restless, remember this. You're not doing it wrong. Your body's just still convinced it needs to earn the quiet. You don't have to prove peace to yourself. Just live near it long enough that maybe one day it doesn't feel suspicious anymore. And if that day's far off, that's okay too. There's room for trust to build slowly. Room for you to keep noticing without fixing. Room to still feel tense when nothing's wrong and understand exactly why. Because sometimes understanding is the deepest form of rest. And maybe tonight that's enough.